So, hi everybody, this is chapter 14 for Psych 101. This might be a little confusing. This exam is over chapters 8, 9, and 14. I know that's out of order, but it's a better sequence with regard to how to teach the material, and then we can start the next one after that. That will be more about disorders, theories, and therapies. So you'll see what I mean when we get to that. But for now, chapter 14 is health and stress. So I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know while I'm sporting my Chandler Gilbert t-shirt here. First of all, if you look at the handouts that are attached in the module with this video, you will notice that we start with the social readjustment rating scale. I gave you a copy of that in the handouts. And this is a quiz that you can take on your own. It's very quick, and the grading is part of the attachment as well. And it was made in 1980 by two cardiologists at the University of Washington, and they were intending to measure how health and stress are related, and things like heart attacks, because that's what cardiologists deal with, and other health problems. So it's an old test, 40 years old, but that's what it was intended to measure. On the exam, you will want to know that the number one stressor, they said, was death of a spouse or significant other. Certainly for most people this would be true, but perhaps not for everyone. Some people don't get along with their spouse, that's for sure. So that's one of the criticisms of the test. But at least it does show you on one piece of paper how much stress you're experiencing. Contrast that to daily hassles, another quiz that measures little things. Oh, wait a minute, all my classes are online now. That's stressful. I still have to work. Or wait a minute, maybe I don't have work and now I still have to pay bills. All of these stressful things, those are daily hassles. That is one part of stress, according to Lazarus, and the other part of it is uplifts. What if something positive happens? Like you get a new job or you get an A on an assignment. Well, those would be positive points to counterbalance the negative points of the daily hassles. So that's the first part of this health and stress chapter. Next, theory of reasoned action. This explains stress in more of a theoretical sort of way. First of all, there are 3 steps to this. There has to be specific intentions, like I want to have less stress in my life, I want to quit smoking, I want to go back to school. That will relieve stress, just knowing that you have a plan. Second is having a positive attitude. You really have to believe in yourself and believe that it can be done. That's the second step. And then the third step is social support. Who is behind you? Who can you contact? Plenty of students contact me when they have questions about class. Maybe it's someone else with the college, maybe it's your family or your friends. You need someone to support you to make sure that it happens. Now, another theory is called the theory of planned behavior. That only adds to the first one we did, the theory of reasoned action, but it adds one more step to it, and that is your perception that you can do it. It's called the perception of control over the outcome. You believe that it can be accomplished and that you can do it before you move forward. Now, one more theory before we move on. A lot of theories in this chapter, come to think of it. And that is the stages of control model. So the first thing is pre-contemplation. And that is when you're not even ready to think about what you want to do positive with your life to alleviate stress. But then you start to contemplate it. You start to think about, what can I do to make my life better? Then the preparation and determination. You plan action, you explore the options. Then the fourth step, action and willpower. You have to actually commit to a plan. Here's what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it. By the way, I always enjoy having students who are returning to college after many years. That step 4 is a big one for them. How is this all going to work? And then the 5th one, maintenance. How do you keep at it? Yeah, you made the plan and you started it, but how do you continue until you have completed whatever you need to do. Moving right along, stress in the workplace. Here's what I want you to know for this exam. The number one reason why people feel stressed in their job, burnout, and burnout is usually caused by feeling unappreciated. Could that be a low salary? You're not making enough money? Absolutely. But there's more to it than that. You feel like the efforts you're putting out just aren't appreciated by others. No matter how hard you try, other people don't seem to understand what you're doing or how hard you're working. It's all of that. Feeling unappreciated leads to burnout, and that's why people typically don't like their jobs. It could be money, but there's more to it than just money. Moving right along, health psychology operates on the biopsychosocial model. There is actually a field of psychology called health psychology. You can even get a PhD in that, believe it or not. So, bio, your biology, what's going on inside your body. Psych, what's going on in your mind. And social, what's going on in your life. There are three things that we look at with the biopsychosocial model. First, why do people have the health problems that they have? Is it completely genetic, or is it something to do with choices they're making, stress they're feeling, or their lifestyle in general? Second thing is, how do your choices impact your health? So what is it? Your smoking, your diet, your lack of activity, the way you handle stress? What's impacting these things? And third, what can people do to respond to their illness? What can they do to make it better? What can they do to deal with it? Next thing about health psychology, big word, psychoneuroimmunology. I bet you're glad this isn't a spelling test, huh? Because that is a big word. Well, that means your immune system and how that's related to your thinking and your stress. B and T cells, you might remember from high school, typically this is taught in health classes and biology classes, also known as helper cells. And helper cells are used, B and T cells, to fight off illnesses. So it's very possible that you have some kind of illness now and you don't even know it because of these helper cells, B and T cells, fighting off the illness. Certainly that's been in the news about the coronavirus, COVID-19, and this is true of many different types of illnesses and diseases. After a stressful event is over, these B and T cells can remain low for many months. So you might think, oh, that breakup was last year. Oh, you know what, when I had money problems, that was months ago. Your immune system can still be low many months later. That's what research tells us. And therefore, people can still get sick. So, next thing, I'm turning the page here on the notes, and if you're following along, skeleton note-wise, you can do that. Or maybe you're following the PowerPoint, always a good idea. So, Hans Selye in the book had an arc of how stress impacts the body. He only studied animals, however, like laboratory rats. And what he found was it goes in three stages: alarm, resistance, exhaustion. Something stresses you out, your body goes into a sense of alarm. Your body then tries to fight it off, resistance. And then it makes you totally exhausted, and that can even lead to health problems, even heart attacks and migraine headaches and everything.